All right, Shalom. Shalom. I'm Mariah Allah coming at you with another lesson. All right, straight out of the Lion's Den camp of Yashala. But before I get started with this lesson, I would like to give all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son, in their proper true names. And we're going to start off by saying Kal, Halayim, Allah, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Ma'amah. Definitely want to give double honors to the apostles of GMS and their elders. Definitely want to give double honors to my elder, Ahar Wam, one yes, all of the Lions Den camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere men, women, and children that believe on the names of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, and that believe in sincerity and the truth. All right. Shalom to the Lions Den camp, man, and the rest of the elect that's out there. All right. That's pushing this truth. All right, man. Let's go ahead and jump into this lesson for the day. All right, today's lesson is basically still on Trump and his bull BS lies, man. All right, as the Israelis, right, has drawn America into this war, right, the least of them should draw them out, right? So now, Trump and the American government is now involved, right? World War III, like, it's not at a full scale yet, right? We're still seeing little small proxies, right? But this could be the lead up to the full scale war, all right? But this article here is from Raw Store. It says volcano is about to erupt. Ex-Trump insider warns about president next plan. All right, so my previous video was going over how Trump just basically is lying about what he accomplished over there in Iran, right? He really didn't do that much damage. They was actually able to move some of the materials. They did take a little bit of damage, but it's nowhere near as much damage as basically Trump was reporting and boasting about. Right? They still are basically if they were put back, right, it's only gonna put them back a couple months. It's not gonna put them back like basically stop Iran from being able to produce nukes for some years, right? But what Trump did was able to kind of like slow them down just for like a month or two, right? But they was Iran is ready for it. That's why Putin hasn't come to their aid just yet. He's like the mediator for Iran because they're part of the BRICS nation. If when Putin feels like Iran can't defend themselves, that's when he'll step in. All right, when they get when they're actually losing. All right, but until you see Russia step in and step Ezekiel 38, right, to step in to help out Iran, you best believe Iran still got he still got some things you need to be worried about. All right, like all those thousands of missiles, regular missiles that they have. For one, right? I believe personally they already have nuclear capabilities. They just trying to hide it for the most part. I'm not gonna say act like they have a bunch, but I believe they may have one, ducked off somewhere, or is in the midst of creating one themselves, right? Or they could be receiving one from their allies as well. But all eyes on them and all eyes on America, right? But this article says Donald Trump is planning to lie, right? It says to Congress, according to an ex-insider to the president. All right. It says Lev Parnas, all right, a former, quote, trusted operative, end quote, to the U.S. president, recently flagged evidence of Trump's cognitive decline. All right, it says in a separate blog post on Thursday, Parnas wrote, "Keep your eye on the ball," right? This is a quote. "Keep your eye on the ball. The volcano is about to erupt," end quote. And it says, quote, "It's been a nonstop 24-hour. I've been getting messages and updates through the night. Sources reaching out, intel coming in from across the globe. And I'm telling you right now, something is about to happen." Parnas wrote, it says, quote, "Trump wants you distracted." All right. Again, for those who know, they know, sleight of hand, and, It's all about, misdirection, all right, and keeping you distracted from what's really going on. It says chasing headlines, right? Trump wants you distracted chasing headlines, but I'm asking you keep your eye on the ball because the real story is unraveling right in front of us, right? And for the elect, keeping our eye on the ball, right, or the prize, or on salvation is really keeping our eyes on prophecy and doing the will of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, doing the will of the Father, man, right, of Yahweh, the Most High. All right, that's his true name. All right, Yahweh. All right, Yahweh. All right. So it says keep your eye on the ball because the real story is unraveling right in front of us. It says, elaborating on what's happening, he said overnight Russia launched another heavy round of missiles and drone attacks across Ukraine, targeting cities, hitting civilian infrastructure, killing innocent people. All right. Now, this article is 8 hours ago. Oh, man, Shalaki. Come on, phone. All right. It says, we went too far. Yeah. All right. It says, unaliving innocent people. Shalaki, you too. You be tripping. But, it says, they don't even know what that means. But yeah, it says, but while the air raid sirens wailed, something else happened. A Russian delegation quietly left for Washington, D.C. I've been telling you for months, he's not reacting to the news. He's orchestrating it. He's orchestrating it. This is all leading up to Trump's lying to Congress about Iran. It says, according to the ex-operative, it says, so like it says, this is all leading up to Trump's lying to Congress about Iran, according to ex-operative. It says, quote, here's what my sources are telling me, and you won't hear this on CNN. All right, it says, today, Trump's defense and intel teams are supposed to brief the Senate the next day, all right, Congress. It says, but my sources say they're going to stonewall, he added. They will refuse to disclose the full scope of the mission, and the reason is simple, because they can't, and they won't. There was no imminent threat. There was no legal justification. This was not a reactive strike. It was part of the larger choreography I've been telling you about. All right, so that's mostly true, but at the same time, it's all because of the state of Israel, right? Drawing America out into this war. All right, so that immediate threat is really on the state of Israel, right? This is why America jumped in, right? Why he says one thing, he does another, right? So that's how Trump moves. That's how Esau moves in general, right? But that's that imminent threat, right? That drew America out. But technically, Iran didn't strike America for them to have to strike them the way Trump did, right? All right, it says there was no immediate threat. There was no legal justification. This was not a reactive strike, right? It was part of a larger choreography I've been telling you about. It says, according to partners, they know that once the details are made public, the entire narrative collapses. See? See, once the details are made public, right, the entire narrative collapses because they know they didn't really do too much. Right, quote, that's why the cover-up is already underway as this unfolds. Netanyahu's trail is set to begin Monday. His corruption case is back in court. He's cornered, just like Trump, just like Putin. And they're moving together because their fates are now linked. Partners wrote Thursday, and bro don't probably realize how true that really is about their fate being linked like that, dealing with, because the Lord deals in the hearts of the kings, man. You're right, the rulers, the people, like the presidents, the Caesars, the rulers, the people that run the country, it says, Damn, where was that? Just like Trump, just like Putin, and they're moving together because their fates are now linked. Parnas wrote Thursday. And what does Trump do? Question mark. Instead of owning the strike, instead of explaining the mission, he sends out Pete Hegseth to attack the media and distract from the truth. As part of his conclusion, Parnas also writes, they'll lie to Congress, they'll hide the facts, they'll flood the airways with noise. And that's how Donald Trump gets down, man. Sleight of hand, misdirection. You know, um, he's always been set up that way, man. Nero reincarnated. This is Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, man. Right. So again, all this misdirection. Yeah, that was a successful strike. He's amping up the people, right? Amping up the American people. Oh, let's go, Trump. Trump can't be stopped. America can't be stopped, right? But in actuality, it's all set to destroy America, right? To bring this place down, right? And I believe, and that's his goal knowingly. Like you know, Trump don't really care about America. January 6th proved that, right? He don't care about the system. He don't care about Congress. He don't care about the Democrats. He don't care what nobody has to say. He's gonna do what Trump want to do, right? And yet they were drawing swords, man. All right, let's go to Proverbs 26:24. He that Salakia. Proverbs 26:24. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speak of fair. Yeah, I knew I was supposed to start up a little bit. All right, Proverbs 26:22. I'm gonna start there. Salaki. The words of a talebearer, right, are as wounds, right? A scoffer, murmurer, someone just kind of deceitful, um, you know, but that basically that word goes into like slandering, pretty much. We can grab it. All right. Talebearer, right? This is the Hebrew word.
Strong's H5372. Nirgan.
Yeah. Outline of biblical usage: to murmur, whisper, murmurers, backbiter, slander, talebearer, right? Backbiter, right? It says the words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly, right? Burning lips, burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hath dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart, man. And that's just like Esau as a whole, man. And our 2/3 of our people follow right in behind them stupid, ungodly people, man. You know, so just like Esau today, right? Just like Trump, his his words are full of deceit, man. It's all to dissemble, right? The American people as a whole, right? The elect is not following that BS anyways. We're not following behind Trump with that mess, right? This is why we do videos and to expose him. Man. The Lord is lifting up the skirt of Babylon right now, right? And exposing the thigh, exposing all this wickedness, exposing the lies of this place, man. Right? And right now, Trump is being exposed, man. It says, verse 25, when he speak of fair, believe him not, right? So how can we sit back and believe Trump, when he's just, he's always been full of lies, man. Boasting and bragging like he the man. You didn't really accomplish nothing, man. Russia didn't even come after you. That clearly show you, bro, like you just, your bunker busters didn't do that much damage. This is why you're trying to create a more advanced, a big brother to the old bunker buster. You want to create a big brother bunker buster. right? That should create more of an impact, right? But you might be a little too late, man. You know, so we'll see. All right. Right, verse 25. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Right, he's completely wicked, man. Right, 7 just means like something completion. Right, 7 going into completion. He's completely abominable, man, in his heart. Right, verse 26. Whose hatred is covered by deceit. Right, that sleight of hand, man. You know, telling you one thing but doing something else behind closed doors. Right, or just blatantly lying to you, saying he got this and got this accomplished, but really he didn't do anything. Right? Maybe barely scratched. You know, the face of Iran. You know, but he let him tell it. He decimated it. You know, it says, whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Right, and that's what's happening now, man. He's being exposed. You know, to the Americans, because that's his congregation, man. Congregation, right? The American people. Right? It says, who diggeth a pit shall fall therein, right? You know, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him, right? And that's the prophecy for Esau, man, for them, you know, following the steps. And I believe in my previous video I said Kaiser with him, but I meant to say Robert Oppenheimer, man. You know, the destroyer. He has become the destroyer of worlds when he created the atomic bomb. So Salakia and forgive me for using the wrong name for the destroyer of worlds. All right, because Kaiser Wilhelm isn't in a book called Destroyer of Worlds, but the one who quoted him being the who said he has become the destroyer of worlds is Robert Oppenheimer. So Salaki on that for my previous video, one of my videos. All right. So anyway, but that's just like Oppenheimer, man. That's the Edomites, man. You know, all of this stuff that the Lord has blessed them with, as far as blessing them with the fatness of the earth, and they was gonna gain it through the sword, with the sword, right? The modern day sword and spear is the ICBM missiles, man. You know, that's the modern day sword and arrows and spears. So and that will be returned upon on America's, on the head of America. Be returned upon their own heads, right? The Edomites as a whole, right, as well as the Edomites that's portraying themselves to be the true people of the Most High in the state of Israel, right? 27, who diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and are flattering mouth, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. 2/3 of our people right there, man. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin, man. So 2/3 of our people continue to fall for that no flattering words. Oh, this America, that's gonna lead you to destruction, man. I have keeping your faith into this place. This is Psalms 28. Ooh, this is a pretty good one. I think I had another precept before this one, but this is Psalms 28:1. A Psalm of David. Unto thee will I cry, O Yahweh, my rock. Be not silent to me, lest if thou be silent to me, I become like them that go down into the pit. Right. This is why we continuously to try our best to follow law, statutes, commandments, to do the will of the heaven, do the will of the Lord, man. And put our faith and trust into Him, right? Because we don't want to end up like Esau and fall into a ditch, man, fall into a pit. Verse 2: hear the voice of my supplication, right? And that pit is going to be a pit of death, man, of destruction. All right, not talking about Great Britain, but just a pit of the America being turned into a lake of fire, them going into slavery for 1,000 years. That's that pit of destruction, man. And then after that, they'll be eradicated. Verse 2, hear the voice of my supplication when I cry unto thee, when I lift up my hand toward the holy oracle. Draw me not away with the wicked, right? Don't allow, basically keep my mind set on you, right? Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, right? And not let me fall victim to the wicked, man, believing into their words and stuff like that. So, and I'm just bringing this out for the, for the Negroes, Latinos, or Native Americans, man. You know, bring put your faith into Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, not into the government of America, not to the presidents and congressmen, and put your faith into the Most High, you know, by turning to Him, calling on His proper name, right, and calling on Him in the name of His only begotten Son, in His proper true name, right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, All right, it says, right, draw me not away with the wicked and with the works of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbor, but mischief is in their hearts. Right. So so again, this on a broader, look, that's what Esau do. They speak peace to their neighbors, or America, the hem of the earth can't be touched. They don't say that, but America can't be touched, but they are the hem of the earth, by the way. All right. You know, and everybody over here feels like they dwelling safely, you know, just like in the city of Unwild Village, So this place will be destroyed, man. So them people can feel safe all they want, But at the end of the day, the Lord has a bullseye on this place, man. Draw me not away from with the wicked, right, and with the workers of iniquities, which speak peace to their heart, to their neighbor, but mischief is in their hearts. Give them according to their deeds and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Give them after the work of their hands. Render to them their desert, because they regarded not the works of the Most High, Yahweh, right, the Lord, nor the operation of His hands. He shall destroy them and not build them up, man. And that's the prophecy. That's part of the prophecy for Esau, man. At the end of it, right, they will be eradicated. They won't be built back up, man. After they 1,000 years of slavery, right? And He's gonna, pay them back according to their works. Man. Everything they did is gonna happen, right? Fall upon their own head. All this destruction and unaliving of the innocent people of the Lord's elect, right? And according to the wickedness of their endeavors, give them after the work of their hands. Render to them their desert, because they regard not the works of the Lord, man, right? Nor the operation of His hands. See, they feel like, they control, the outcome of the prophecies. They know, just like Trump is being led by that deceitful Christian lady, right? Who don't know nothing about the prophecies whatsoever. I don't know if any one of y'all who's listening has heard any of her messages, but she is so far gone. She off. So, and then Trump's following right behind it, right? Thinking that he's the Most High and He controls, the prophecies, you know. That's them regarding not the works of Yahweh, right? Nor the operation of His hands, right? He shall destroy them and not build them up, right? And His hands is, of course, who sits on the right hand of the Father, right? Who's also known as the right hand of the Most High, right? Not the Trinity. Right? It's two separate entities, man. The Most High is the Father, Yahweh, and He has a Son, the very first angel created, whose name is Yahweh Shai. Right? It says, blessed be the Lord, right? Blessed be Yahweh, because He hath heard the voice of my supplication. Right? Yahweh is my strength and my shield. My heart trusted in Him, and I am helped. Therefore my heart greatly rejoiceth, and with my song will I praise Him. Right? That's pretty much the point I was trying to get to. Let's go to Psalm 64. Right? Just try to get right to the point. think I just brought this out in the previous. Okay, this is Psalm 64. Right. Subtitle says prayer for deliverance from secret enemies. All right. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquities, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. All right, so I was bringing this out because that's the mindset of Esau today, man. It's always been the mindset of Esau, right? The mindset of Trump, though, right? It's verse 3, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, man. Acting like he did so much and he didn't do anything, right? Thinking, you know, look all the stuff he said against, the Latinos and the Native Americans and the Negroes, right? He's secretly shooting at us. Look how who he set up, ICE, right? And he trying to get rid of the immigrants. Who you think he gonna target next? You know, but Trump has an agenda, man. He has an agenda to destroy this place, man. That's really what his agenda is. Look what he did with the tariffs. Look what he did. Like everything he said he was going to do before he got put in the office for the second term, he didn't get none of that accomplished. He didn't stop the war. He didn't. Everything he's doing is just further putting America in a lower place, right? Bringing basically about to crash the economy, man. And then all that's going to do is implement the MOTB, Revelation. Revelations 13:16. Let me grab that real quick. That's what's in the midst, man, because of what the things Trump is doing. But again, this is all coming from Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua leading Trump to do these things. All right. So Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is the wisdom: let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Right, Kaisai stigma, man. Going into the MOTB, where it would be, that's what's coming down the pipeline. We can the elect can clearly see it because we see what Trump is doing to the country. And what his plan is to make and digitize everything, right? But that's how they get down, man. That's how they shoot in secret at the perfect, right? Psalm 64:4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They consume they commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? The elect is gonna see you, man. We making videos about you, bro. You ain't slick. We know the prophecies of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and we believe in those prophecies, man. We understand, and the Lord has blessed us in the spirit and power of truth to be able to receive those prophecies, man. So we see what's coming down the pipeline, for all the things Trump has been doing, doing with the tariffs, so on and so on. You could just keep going, even to the point with him striking Iran. All this stuff is to misdirect. It's like misdirection, man. Sleight of hand, and then boom, here goes that digital ID. Boom, it has to. Now they talking about it's gonna be a wearable ID, right? But eventually, they're gonna make it convenient and actually implant it into you. Because people are gonna be losing those wearable digital assets, whether it's a wristband or whatever, you know. So they're gonna start, people gonna start stealing them. All kind of stuff can happen, man. This is why they're gonna have to put it into the body directly. All right. But back to Psalm 64 and 5, they encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish and delegates. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. But Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Ooh. So yeah, well, as soon as that MOTB hit and World War III is in full scale, what the Most High say he gonna do? He gonna shoot at them with arrows. He gonna use their own, everything that he allowed them to create. He gave them the wisdom knowledge to create. He's gonna shoot at them with their own arrows, man. ICBMs, man. Nuclear destruction coming out of Russia, coming out of China. But Russia being that head guard unto the other nations, unto the BRICS nations, Turkey, Iran as well. All right. Right, verse 7. But Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Right? All that boasting you doing, Trump, you're going to probably be one of the main ones to get hit, man, directly in the smack of your forehead with one of them damn ICBMs. Either that or Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua want to put your ass in slavery and make you work for, you know what I'm saying? Whew, either way it go, you done for, my boy. All right, it says, right, verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, for they shall wisely consider of his doings. The righteous shall be glad in Yahweh and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory, right? Because Trump and them can't do that because his spirit is not upright in him, right? It says Psalm 62. I don't know why I grabbed this out. Okay, yeah, Psalm 62 and 1. All right. Truly my soul waiteth upon Yahweh, from him cometh my salvation. All right, and that's the mindset of the elect, man. 2/3 don't have that mindset. 2/3 of the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the speckled bird, all right, don't have 2/3 of them don't have that mindset. Only the elect, and the 144 and the 1/3 has that mindset. Right, verse 2. He only is my rock. Right, see, ooh, he only, right, or him only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies, right? They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Salah. That's Esau, man. It says, right, my soul, right, wait thou only upon Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, upon our power, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. And Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua is my salvation, my glory, the rock of my strength, and my refuge is in power. Right? In Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Right? Pour out your hearts before him. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua is a refuge for us. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. Trump. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has spoken. Once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy. For thou renderest to every man according to his works. Right? From all the wickedness that Esau and the Edomites, Idumeans have done on the earth, all of that will be repaid upon your own heads, man. You know, it's all according to your works. You have no righteous works at all. All right. So while Trump is out here lying and boasting to the people, acting like he did this marvelous work, he gonna get hit with a damn bunker buster, and it's gonna come straight from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, man. Just another lesson about Trump and his lies, what happened, you know, over there in Iran with these 3 sites. Again, um, it wasn't like nothing happened at all. He did do a little bit of damage, but it wasn't nothing major the way he's boasting about it. Them Iranians still over there doing what they need to do. It didn't slow them down that much. Maybe a month, maybe 2 months. They did have to move some materials around so it wouldn't get hit. They have truckloads coming and basically, moving stuff to the mountains. Uh, there's been a few articles out basically saying that they saw, trucks, at 2 of the locations, and they was moving at Fordo and another, I forgot the other spot, when they was moving them to the mountain range that they had, that's maybe, 50 miles away or so, or, a couple, 100 miles away. So they had already moved that stuff, man. The most of it. Now, some of that stuff did get, touched, but it wasn't enough to really like stop them and completely destroy them, and it didn't really do that much damage. Now the facilities on top, yeah, of course those got destroyed, right? But the important stuff was underground, right? The facilities, they can rebuild those fast. That ain't really nothing. But it was all built. It was all set to stop them from, basically trying to build up their nuclear arsenal. Or build up a nuclear arsenal, dealing with the certain materials that they was holding in stock at these certain sites, man. All right, but that's what it's all boiling down to. That at the end of the day, Trump didn't stop nothing. He ain't do nothing. That little bit of damage that he did ain't didn't set them back that far. All right, because again, if it would have, you would have seen Trump. I mean, you would have seen Putin selling out and warning America he finna target your ass. But again, Putin said, "Hey, Iran can handle themselves. Whenever they start to fall for real, and really start to lose, then we'll jump in." But if Russia is confident in Iran, that should tell you a lot, man. Them boys ain't really do too much to Iran. America ain't really do too much to Iran. So again, Lord willing, this let's edify. I'm gonna go ahead and end it, man. Shalom, and DTA and DTI to the state. All right, them fake ones that's over there. All right, Shalom, Ahabata, and to the elect. All right, Shalom.